Hi, my name is Darian, and I'm here to talk about my time at JMC. But before I do that, I want to rewind and talk about what got me into film. When I was little, I was a very creative child and enjoyed making stop-motion videos of my action figures. I used to take pictures, edit them, and watch the end result. I used to love watching my ideas come to life, and that's when my love for film started. In my late primary school, early high school years, I started my own YouTube channel like many other kids. I enjoyed creating video game trailers and movie trailers.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I also love playing video games. I would record me and my friends playing together. By year 9, my high school allowed media as an elective, which I thought would be a really fun class where I didn't have to think too much and still do well. And as the years went on, I took it more seriously. Like many kids, I didn't know what I wanted to do once I left high school, so I chose my hobby as a career path. And I applied for many unis, resulting in me choosing JMC. My first try at JMC was all about getting comfortable and forming relationships, as well as learning about the industry. I remember bits and pieces about this try, including the insane biking assessment in Post-Production 1, which everyone hated, but I didn't seem to mind because I enjoyed editing and I had the freedom to edit however I wanted.
And I didn't think it was that bad.
There was also postcards where I teamed up with 2 other people to create a video that goes with a certain song, which I directed and edited, which was a lot of fun. We also had the multicam, where we did a taping of a talk show. I was the switcher, which came in handy later on down the track. My second try, I developed solid friendships with people I met in the first try, and we worked together whenever we could. Some of the standout classes in this try were screenwriting, screen history, and the documentary class. I enjoyed screenwriting because it was something that I loved to do. I loved to form a narrative and see the foundation of my idea come to life. For that assessment, I decided to write a horror movie script, which I put together kind of effortlessly. Although my classmates said they really enjoyed it, my lecturer did not and said none of it really makes sense, resulting in many rewrites. Screen history was also a standout because it broadened the variety of films that piqued my interest. I love to pick apart each film, seeing what worked and what didn't, and how I could incorporate those certain elements into my film. Lastly, my documentary class stood out because it was very personal, and it was the first time that I shared my story about my depression. My lecturer and my peers were very impressed and supportive of my documentary, and were quite surprised of the subject matter and that it was a personal story. My third try was a fun hands-on experience. A few standout classes include screenwriting and production project. Screenwriting was an interesting class because it created the idea of my original grad project, and that was telling the story of someone's life in a short film, which I was told on multiple occasions is quite ambitious and had many lecturers skeptical, but yet I was very dedicated to make it work. Lastly, the production project class was one of the most difficult classes, but yet the most rewarding. The class would work on 2 short films, one being Pointer and the other being Tim and Doug versus the Moon People, both of which were very stressful due to short time periods to complete both films. However, when in production it was quite fun and it was rewarding to see the end result of both films. The fourth try was an interesting one due to the commencement of lockdown towards the end of the try. However, it did have some standout moments, those including major project and digital producing. For major project, my short film was now titled Cycles, and it went through constant rewrites to further enhance the story. I also had to assemble a crew and actors. I had to give all my characters detailed backstories and incorporate them into the story and touch up every little detail to get the film greenlit.
How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
Surprisingly, my film was given the green light after my pitch. However, I decided to cancel the project due to the timing of COVID and instead attach myself to other people's projects. For digital producing, we would work in groups to make an advertisement for Southport Community Housing Group, which had to be filmed by the subject from an iPhone, which was quite difficult to work with since I was the editor and didn't have a lot to work with. However, my group managed to get through it and hand something in. It is not my finest work. Due to lockdown, I had a lot of free time on my hands, and I got into graphic design and making music, which was incorporated in the digital producing assessment. Try 5 was quite lackluster due to the unfortunate circumstances. My classes included pop culture, designing for the screen, and international cinema. I probably had the most fun in pop culture because I had the freedom to choose any topic that I wanted to talk about and make it interesting to the class. My first assessment was on MTV and how it maintained relevancy through pop culture. And my second assessment was the history of skateboarding, both of which I had a lot of fun talking about. Designing for the screen was slightly less engaging, but I did get to show off my drawing skills and how I could adapt source material and make it my own. This was put on display when I had to incorporate the film Beauty and the Beast in a cyberpunk universe, which was kind of fun. Lastly, I enjoyed the assessments in international cinema. It was the only time I'll say I enjoyed writing essays. The reason why I say this is because I got to talk about lesser known films that I really enjoy, such as The Platform, Raw, and the original Funny Games. And lastly, Try 6. So far I've enjoyed this trimester, and the standouts have been music video, open broadcast, and my grad project. Only recently, I was to direct my first music video, and I felt like I did a good job, and I had a lot of fun on set. It is currently undergoing post-production, and I am excited to see it once it's finished. Open broadcast is another standout because I finally get to do hands-on work again, which makes it that much more enjoyable. And lastly, my grad film. My grad film has gone through constant changes due to COVID. However, I've decided to make a short film by myself from acting to editing. The film is horror themed and is shot entirely in first person. The film uses sound design intended to unsettle the viewer, and I had a lot of fun making it. I don't know what the future holds for me, but once I leave JMC, I hope to pick up work as an editor, and hopefully later down the road, I could write and direct my own films. I also don't want to limit myself in film. I also want to push my music and get some work as a graphic designer as well.